Police warn of fake Facebook page. Government to offer free childcare to frontline workers. Ministry of Health records 2 additional COVID-19 deaths. In the region, Colombia lifts restrictions as COVID-19 cases stabilize. And internationally, China dismisses U.S. report about boosting nuclear warheads. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. The Guyana Police Force has released a statement expressing concerns over the existence of a fake Facebook page purporting to be managed by the force. The police claim that this is not a mere parody account, but rather a page managed by persons of ill intent who have the specific aim of creating discord in society. They also reminded the public that the GPF does not use their actual Facebook account to reach out to persons under investigation. The GPF also urged all Facebook users to report the page as they continue their legal investigation into the authors behind the account. Yesterday, the police stopped 2 bandits shortly after committing a robbery at Border Market. More from Esther Sobers.
Swift action by the police resulted in the capture of 2 bandits minutes after an armed robbery was committed yesterday at Border Market. The police ranks were able to nab the bandits in a car chase along Regent Street. According to reports, the robbery took place at around 14:30 hours at one of the stalls in Border Market. A woman was about to make a purchase at the stall when an armed gunman ran up to her and demanded her handbag. The woman resisted and the gunman hit her with the weapon and snatched the bag containing her cell phone and cash. The man then ran out of the market into a waiting car. The police were alerted and right away a patrol unit located the car and gave chase. Ranks were able to trap the car as one of the men attempted to dispose of the firearm. The stolen bag was recovered. The gunman and driver are currently in police custody. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. This morning, a laborer was stabbed to death at Border Market, Georgetown. The victim, who is known as Spade, would normally do odd jobs around the market. Initial reports indicate that he was stabbed during an argument over money. The suspect in the killing has since been arrested. Stick around. Coming up after the break, government to offer free childcare to frontline workers, and Ministry of Health records 2 additional COVID-19 deaths.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I could do here?
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Purja Singh and I'm the Senior Teacher at the Agriculture After School Program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security will be expanding its Child Care Assistance Program to provide free childcare to frontline workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. On Monday, Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindhya Prasad stated that assistance will be available to the frontline workers in both the private and public sectors. Dr. Prasad noted that in the first phase, the program will be piloted to benefit healthcare workers, police officers, prison officers, fire service officers, security officers, and army officers with children who are below the age of 7. Through the program, the ministry will also make direct payment for services to licensed childcare facilities. This morning, the Ministry of Health announced that 2 additional persons have died of COVID-19 in Guyana. Here's Bibi Bacchus with that story.
This morning, the Ministry of Health recorded 2 additional deaths to COVID-19, bringing the death toll in Guyana to 43. According to the ministry, the patients were a 72-year-old man from Region 4 and a 29-year-old woman from Region 6. The ministry did not disclose where the patients died, but noted that they were swabbed upon arrival at the health facility, and following their deaths, both results came back as positive. The total number of recorded cases now stands at 1,373, with 67 new cases confirmed on Tuesday. The ministry is again reminding the public to practice physical distancing, correct and consistent use of a face mask when leaving home, and maintaining good hand hygiene to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Persons with symptoms are asked to call the COVID-19 hotline number 231-1166 for assistance. For Headline News Update, Bibi Bacchus.
Thanks, Bibi. The Ministry of Housing and Water has appointed Sherwin Greaves as the new CEO of the Central Housing and Planning Authority. A statement from the Ministry of Housing and Water on Wednesday stated that the newly appointed CEO, quote, brings with him a wealth of knowledge in the areas of effective leadership and communication, as he holds a Master in Business Administration from the Australia Institute of Business, a diploma in banking from the Associate Institute of Canadian Bankers, as well as a certificate in People and Team Management from the Canadian Securities Institute. With a career in banking spanning over 27 years, Mr. Greaves held key managerial positions throughout the nation. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, Cuba puts new measures in place for COVID-19, and China dismisses U.S. report about boosting nuclear warheads.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I gonna do here?
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the senior teacher at the Literature After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online site, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. The authorities in Cuba announced that new measures will be implemented to curb the spread of COVID-19 across the island. The decision was made following reports of more cases in some provinces in East Central Cuba last week. In response to the report, Prime Minister Manuel Marrero called on the health authorities to work quickly to identify the COVID-19 contagion chains and prevent the spread of the disease in the country. Among the provisions that came into force as of September 1st are that mobility of people will be restricted from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. This includes state and private transportation. Interprovincial trips will be suspended except cargo vehicles, especially food. In addition, work visits to provinces by domestic companies and institutions will be suspended for 15 days. To date, the Spanish-speaking communist island has had just under 4,000 cases of COVID-19 and 94 deaths. Colombia has lifted its 5-month coronavirus lockdown as COVID-19 cases has begun to stabilize across the country. Many sectors are now open for business as the government wants to fix a struggling economy. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
For the first time in more than 5 months, Bogotá's airport has reopened to national travelers. Under strict health protocols, just a few flights are being allowed each day, but for the lucky passengers, it's a reason to rejoice. Like Alberto Vargas, who was about to board a flight to visit his parents in his native Barranquilla for the first time since March.
I'm very excited about the reopening, and hopefully this means a reactivation of the economy, something we've been waiting for a long time.
Colombia is slowly emerging from one of the longest quarantines anywhere in the world and entering a new phase with fewer restrictions. In the capital, Bogotá, people are allowed back into parks, but many non-essential businesses are only opening 4 days a week. On Tuesday in downtown Bogotá, informal vendors were being chased by the police. The vendors are only authorized to work Thursday to Sunday.
I've been out of a job for 5 months. Now the police are not letting me work. I'm 69 years old and I haven't received any help. What am I supposed to do?
Latin America's fourth largest economy shrank nearly 16% in the last quarter. Tens of thousands of shops and restaurants have already closed for good.
5 million people have lost their job in the country since the beginning of the pandemic. The national unemployment rate has rose to 20.2%, the highest ever. And the situation is even worse here in the capital, Bogotá, where 26% of the working population is now unemployed.
But with the number of daily infections still stubbornly high, the relatively cautious reopening seems justified.
What we are seeing in Colombia is that after a long time of gradual but consistent growth in infections, we have reached a point where it seems like the virus has finally stopped growing. It's remaining constant, generating expectation that the curve will start to descend.
The government is counting on people to keep wearing face masks and maintaining social distancing in this new phase. But what's clear is that for many, getting back on their feet will take years, even if the fight to beat the virus succeeds. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
And internationally, China has dismissed the US report about increasing nuclear capabilities as, quote, biased and dishonest, end quote. The US Department of Defense says China is planning to double the number of its nuclear warheads in the next 10 years. But even if that happens, experts say that will just be a fraction of what the US has in its arsenal. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
People's Liberation Army troops on exercise along the Tibetan border. In recent weeks, China's military has been playing war games on land, at sea, and in the air. Despite the show of military strength, China's government says its capabilities are purely for defense and rejects the Pentagon report, which says China's military is gaining on the US.
This report is full of lies and bias. It distorts China's defense strategy. China firmly opposes it. China's strategies are consistent and transparent. Its constitution is peaceful, and its military policy is defensive.
The Pentagon says China's Navy has already surpassed the US, with 350 warships, compared to America's 293. And it's made major strides in developing ballistic and cruise missiles, as well as its air defense systems. The report says China intends to double its stockpile of nuclear weapons over the next 10 years. Analysts say, if true, China would still lag far behind the US.
It's still 1/10 of what the United States has got, because the United States is said to possess something like 6,000 nuclear warheads. And of course, the United States is much more extensive in its military bases. It's got something like 800 military bases in over 20 or 30 countries around the world.
Others say China is becoming more assertive in its territorial claims, naming administrative regions and building military bases in disputed waters in the South China Sea, and increasing military activities across the region.
The military presence in the South China Sea, control of oil, navigation rights, and the control on the sea, all this makes the South China Sea the most important place for its globalization plans.
China has also threatened Taiwan with military force. It considers the island a rogue province and says US protection won't prevent reunification.
China's relationship with the US is already on rocky ground over disagreements when it comes to trade, technology, and human rights. Beijing has dismissed the Washington Defense Report as little more than an attempt to boost Donald Trump's re-election chances in November, but warns it won't back down from military confrontation if provoked. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
That's all for today's regional and international news. Here is your 3-day weather forecast. That's all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in Friday at 6 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Also visit our website at headlinenewsghana.com for all the news we couldn't fit in the newscast. Until then, take care.